Welcome. You are at the CCC.
Where there are no outside issues. My name's Anthony. I'm an addict and an alcoholic, another bozo on the bus, and I care about you.
Yes, and I'm LouiLou. My pronouns are he and him, and I am in recovery for crystal meth and alcohol, and I am always in search of balance.
And I'm Jordan. I'm always the third wheel to this little charade.
Yeah, you are.
Exactly. And each week, we strive to foster a brave space where we can engage in conversation centered around topics of recovery.
And our intention is to hold and inspire better spaces for more people in recovery by tackling issues sometimes used to separate us.
Yes, but before we do that, please like, share, and comment on this episode.
And subscribe.
Yes. You know, I decided to do it wrong because I know this one was going to chime in.
No, see, I knew you were going to pull that shit. I knew the second I showed you exactly how it was going to be done.
Blah, 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 blah. Control.
The love.
And now the disclaimer: the thoughts and opinions expressed on at the CCC are ours alone. We do not represent anyone but ourselves. In other words, we're just a couple of friends behind a mic here to entertain you. And of course, everything we talk about is for general information purposes only.
Absolutely. Let's have a kiki.
Let's have a kiki. I don't know the words actually. No,
I don't either. It's like I just know the chorus.
It's a good one. Mm-hmm. It's a good one. It's Happy Pride, everyone. No. Did I just
passed? That passed already.
Oh, we're already.
Yeah. We're trying to get Anthony to be a little more mindful.
Yeah.
Pride is always.
Should we start over?
It's actually been a couple weeks since. So, but you know,
but Pride is every day actually.
But
so
you know, since we're on it, we're filming this the week of Pride, and so we are going to forgive Anthony for. It's being
man. Well, we could always just restart the recording.
No, okay? we're on a roll.
Anyways,
so it's been a while since we've sat down together. How's everyone doing? All right,
I'm doing all right.
Let's move on to our next.
I know.
No, I'm doing okay. I am moving into my own apartment from my SLE.
Nice.
Love that.
So you know, all the emotions of like excitement, but fear and making sure that I find the right furniture and stuff. Like the other day, I spent 2 hours looking at shower curtains. It was insane.
Girl, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
You don't even shower.
Fuck you. Anywho, it's been good, but you know, it's a lot, and then trying to
that's it.
make decisions.
Yeah,
make good decisions.
Make good choices.
Make good choices. That's why I asked him the other day. I'm all, have you been making good choices?
Yeah. Moving is so stressful. Like there's like the actual act of moving, and then there's like getting settled in, and then there's
the last time I moved was the most mature move ever from the Richmond to here, because I had 2 places for a whole month. Mm-hmm. Like they allowed me to move ahead of time, and then I planned it so that I ordered all my boxes on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I packed everything on my own, and I did the move on my own. I was able
by yourself.
I was able to hire
a mover.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to ask anyone.
Oh, that's so great.
And it was perfect. It was perfect. And so it's like I was also able to take my time because I moved the major stuff with the mover, and then I was able to. Yeah, so it was cool.
Yeah. Well,
that'll never happen again.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, you know, I'm actually I'm in the process of getting ready to move.
Where are you going to move to? I mean, you don't have to tell me on the air, but
no, Palo Alto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you are doing that, huh?
Yeah. So I could be closer to campus. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
This is going to get real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What, moving to Palo Alto?
Yeah, because then it's going to be like, I don't feel like coming tonight, guys, because Palo Alto is so far. I told you I'm from Palo Alto Mountain View, so it's like,
I didn't know
like
that.
I grew up.
EPA.
Well, I started there.
Bitch.
No. We started there, and then we moved to Palo Alto, and then and honestly, it wasn't. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
I love the area.
I really do like the area. Although I did feel a little out of place the last time I was there. It was like a couple weekends ago, and I was like, "Oh, this is a very different."
Well, it's because you didn't have a car.
It's a different pace.
It's a different pace. It's a different demographic. It was very, very different.
Yeah.
I felt a little out of place. But yeah, also getting ready for moving. So Louis, you're doing well?
I am. It's like honestly, it's like I realize that I need to step up my meetings. And so this week I've been, and not just my meetings, because what I had been doing, my answer to not going to a meeting regularly was signing on to an online meeting and listening to the share. But I'm in my head and I'm not feeling as connected as I could. And so it's like I'm doing something about that.
Louis, you and I are having like a very similar experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then showing up at meetings and finding out that there's a lot of drama.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that one.
No, we're not going to even talk about it because we're spiritual.
Yes.
We are spiritual. And with that, I think we're going to transition into today's topic.
Ooh,
So
what is today's topic?
today's topic is tech boundaries managing. Tech boundaries managing digital dopamine hits.
You know, the first time when I was looking at the list originally and I saw that, every week we would try. I didn't pay attention to it at first, and just recently, like I've been experiencing it because that excitement that you get when ping.
Oh yeah, well we're going to talk about that today. Yeah, the variable reward system.
Oh, absolutely! It's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, except this time it's P.F. Skinner and his pigeons. We'll talk. So basically what we're asking today is like, what is the line between like harmless scrolling and what is like the digital equivalent to like just one more hit?
Yeah,
Right. Like that's essentially what we're doing.
Okay.
So when we talk about like tech addiction, like the things that come up for me are like, I think about all the hookup apps.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think about like any platform that has endless scrolling, like Reddit, for example, has endless scrolling. Does Instagram? TikTok has endless scrolling. Yeah. Who else?
Instagram,
Facebook,
Facebook,
Christian Mingle. Because I want to find the God in me.
Oh my God. We're not even 5 minutes in. Actually, 7 minutes in.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So basically, starting the conversation by saying that like all the majority of digital applications are designed with the intention of getting people to engage with them, right? Like, and another way of saying that is it's getting people kind of like connected to an app or some kind of like digital product. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so there are different kind of psychological like techniques that are used to do that. So we were talking, for example, about like I mentioned earlier, like the variable reward system. So the variable reward system, it comes from P.F. Skinner's research on pigeons, basically. And what happens with the variable reward system is that people get hooked because they don't know when the reward is going to come. Right, you get that hit and you don't know when the next one's going to come, so you keep engaging with it. And the reason why that's important to know is because there's a pathway, like a key pathway in addiction. It's I'll look it up again, but it's the mesolimbic pathway, and it's basically the pathway that gets ignited whenever we get addicted to things. Mm-hmm. And so when we're on an app, any app that you can think of, that's what's happening, especially ones where like there's engagement. So you can think about like if you're on a hookup app, right? Like there's like the ping about someone being attracted to you, but then there's also like the follow-up that happens after that, which is like, well, then you have the reward of like possibly meeting up with someone, right? Yeah. And on and on and on and on and on it goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That also makes me think of like the idea of like FOMO, right? Like,
oh yeah.
I'm going to keep engaging. I'm going to keep doing this, or I'm going to continue to check on X situation in hopes of I am included, or to find out if I wasn't included, right? And like, is my fear of missing out validated?
Oh, yeah. That warped notion that everybody else is doing what I want to be doing,
right?
Which in fact is not really true because everybody's playing that game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And part of what kind of keeps it in that loop is that, like I was saying earlier, like you don't know when you're going to get that connect, right? It's so unpredictable, but you know it's possible. And that like searching and that like knowing that there's a possibility, that gives you a dopamine surge. And so you get hooked into that. I know I remember the one time when I knew like, oh shit, I have a problem, there was this like one time I was like on the app at like 9 p.m. and it was like 3 a.m. and I was still scrolling. And I was like, how the fuck did this just happen to me?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that whole term doom scrolling, right, is now a common thing.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know, an addiction that's common enough that it's now normal lingo to like, or it's everybody knows what that means. It's understood.
Yeah.
Which is
similar to that. Like I'm thinking about, like if you're on Instagram, for example, and like you see likes come in, right? So that like, that's a type of engagement.
Yeah.
And that can get really addictive. And part of, I think the addictive quality in that is like, going back to the idea of like FOMO or like being connected or being seen, right? That's also tapping into like our wanting to be connected or seen or heard or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it can get, and I think it gets like extra tricky when like, if you think about like if a person is marginalized or doesn't have much of a community, they might find themselves drawn to that, right? Like if connection is what you're seeking, you're going to take any connection that's possible.
Totally. And that's
if you feel starved for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can speak for myself in terms of my addiction with meth. It really I didn't use till the pandemic. And that was mostly because a lot of my friends stopped hanging out with me because of the pandemic. And so I tried to find connection and community in other ways. And everybody wants connection.
God, meth. God, man, meth was a hard one thank God I was sober through the pandemic, because like the freaking out of, I didn't want to be around people like any more than I had to, because I was working an essential job. But meth is like the like you're either a loner or it's the drug that brings people together, regardless of what the consequences might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other part of like, in thinking about drug use is like drug or any kind of substance use is like a way of coping, right? And so similarly, the same thing can happen with technology. We can turn to technology as a way of coping with anxiety. And if we start using technology to cope with anxiety or discomfort, right, that by itself can reinforce the addiction.
Do you remember the app Manhunt?
Yeah, I never used it. But
Manhunt.
You're dating yourself.
It was very colorful, and it's very colorful. And when it showed that you had a message, it was like being at Disneyland, because it was really cool. Like, ooh, like it was flashing, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
And most of the time, you open it and like, no, it's like no, but oh man, I think it's like that thing when you have the moment where you get what you want, and that is what fuels you continuing this kind of mad whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's that same idea. Like you're saying, another hit.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's still, to some degree, it's about some level of escape, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But, and I think this is the other thing that gets kind of complicated, is that like, obviously not all technology is bad. And of course it's all about like moderation and how you use it. Right.
Exactly.
I think, but like speaking from the perspective of like someone who has an addictive personality, like I'm an addict through and through. Right. And so, like today I was like drinking hot chocolate, and I was like, I think I'm addicted to chocolate. I mean, no, I was like, I think I'm addicted to sugar.
You want some chocolate? Yeah. I'll get you ready for your trip.
Oh my God.
Come on, you knew.
Yeah, I walked right into that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, low hanging fruit.
It's like, I was telling somebody else today. It's like, you know what? I was telling
Jordan.
God, I'm old. I was telling Jordan, it's like I'm all. You know, when I love you, I harass you that way. So if I don't like
of course. Yeah. I hit you because I love you is what he said.
Exactly. I know, exactly. I am only hitting you because I love you. Like, you made me do this.
So, like if we think about like turning to any substance as a way of escaping, it's the same thing if you're turning to technology, right? Except it's the same thing. It's like turning for escape. It's for that dopamine high. It's for that like a sense of connection. It can be all of those things. And I'm not saying it's like that for everyone, but I think the thing that we can't ignore is that like, and I feel like I'm also dating myself, but everyone is addicted to their phones.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like you want to see someone lose their mind, like take their phone away from them when they don't see it and they think they lost their phone. Like people lose their fucking minds. Yeah. And part of that I think is like, I've become very reliant on my phone. I pay with my phone. I like keep track of my emails, you know what I mean? There's just like everything. And so, you're reliant.
No, I was talking to a fellow and he was talking about how PG&E went down and then Verizon went down, and he couldn't access anything. It's like I can't use my Apple Pay. I can't pay for anything. I can't get on Muni. I can't talk to anybody. I don't know what to do. It's like, we've come so far from the technology point of view, but at what cost?
Yeah. Well, shit. I was thinking about like, God forbid, we go to war and our grid gets shot, right?
Yeah.
And today I was trying to, the other day I was like,
in less than like a week, we're all going to be feral animals.
No, for real. I'm like, literally I was like, I use my watch to pay for BART. The other day I was getting ready to go on BART and my watch wouldn't reload. And I'm like, what? I didn't bring my wallet. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? So there I was. Anyway, it worked out in the end, but like if the grid is hit and we have no access to electricity, like I don't know what we do.
We become a doom and gloom podcast.
Yeah.
No!
Well, I mean, I think living in a city,
Couldn't even do the podcast.
we wouldn't have the podcast. Yeah. We would be talking into cans.
Morse code.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
We could just stand over by Bank of America and pretend like we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, I always wonder what that would be like to kind of live in a post-apocalyptic. Yeah, you've seen movies like that? Yeah.
I don't like. I think I've talked before. I don't like movies like that. It's
they're my favorite.
I don't, because it's like I like movies. Okay, so when I go to the movies, I want to feel hopeful.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just want a little hope. Like
that's really sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like they're my escape. So it's like I do not need to go to the movie I will not go and watch a movie about what the hell's going on now.
I like the example of like movies as a way of escape because it's contained, right? As a beginning and as an end, it can be kind of like an event, as opposed to like sitting on my phone watching a bunch of YouTube clips.
That I've talked about all the time how I like to go home and whatever, but I'm realizing now, and this sucks, I'm not alone as long as I have my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like I'm at home. Like I have been obsessing over my audiobook, which is a lot better, but I still have my phone and I need my phone for that. And so it's like, maybe the challenge for me is to become aware that, what happens if we do lose the grid, because it's a real possibility. We got a big orange man baby.
Do you do you not have like physical books?
I have physical books.
I'm just like here.
I have physical books. But
the phone book doesn't count.
Do you know how to read?
I know exactly. I have physical books, but I honestly, it's like picking it up and committing to it is a little different than committing to like.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because usually, honestly, unless it's a book that I've read before, like a book that I'll read over and over is The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison.
I don't know.
I believe, Ellison or Emerson. Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, it's basically a story of, it's about a black man who is hiding under in plain sight, basically, and it's a different kind of invisible man, and it's an amazing story. Anyway, but other than that, how you read a book, and usually if you can get past the first chapter or the first, then you can get into it. But sometimes that's not always that easy.
The pickup is
the pickup is a little slow.
Yeah,
it takes a while.
I get that. So I feel like we're like naturally kind of like moving into the territory of like, what are ways of like healthy ways of kind of like coping with anxiety instead of turning to technology.
Crystal meth. No.
Right. Well, like
alcohol.
Both and.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think I sometimes take an intentional like hour of like putting the phone down, right? Or like going for a walk and leaving the phone, right? I think it's You have to be intentional.
Not paying your bill.
That too. Or like, you know what? Like I intentionally like don't charge my phone during the day. When it dies, it dies.
Oh, nice.
That's that's pretty good.
That's pretty smart. I feel like wow. It's interesting because I had like a visceral response to like my phone dying. I'm like, what would I do?
Well, even the fact that we say it dies, right? Is a whole like psychological thing.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I always have to have it on the charger. It's like I don't want to find myself in a situation where I need it and it dies. But it makes sense. Like if you're in and around areas where, I don't know.
You know, when I had social media, I remember when I made the decision that I was going to get off of social media, that was very difficult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like I was losing something. Like there was like a physical reaction to the idea of like not being connected to people via social media. And it's probably the best thing I ever did for myself.
Another thing that we can do, and this is calling back to Bonnie Violet.
Okay.
Give ourselves grace, because what I'm doing with the phone now is nothing like what I was doing before.
Yeah.
I honestly, because in my active addiction, I really had a phone. And so I was causing more trouble then.
Yeah. I was just talking to my best friend about this because I was like being really hard on myself. And she's like, Anthony, you aren't killing babies. You know what I mean? Like because I was telling her like, I'm like really isolating. Like I'm not going to meetings. I've been like working from home. And then when I'm not working from home, I'm in the office, and like, I've just been stuck in that loop. And she's like, Anthony, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you're not out there doing drugs or drinking or like wreaking havoc or,
looking for shower curtains
for fucking 3 hours.
Okay. You know what? Shower curtains are important.
They are important.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah. So what are some other things that y'all do? So you take breaks. You have you let your phone die. You go on walks. You go to the movies.
No, I don't.
You just said.
I said I like going to movies. I mentioned that, but I don't go to the movies.
Oh, wow.
I don't go to the movies that often. It's like, come on, unless it's a really good movie coming out.
I do like movies as well.
I do like movies too.
We're on the AMC A-list.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I don't go nearly as much.
I don't sign up for the A-list because it's like I'm all thinking it's like I'm not going to go to that many movies.
Yeah, but you do feel kind of like encouraged. It pays for itself.
We should go. Speaking of,
no, 100%. It pays for itself. You go to more than one movie in a month. Like it pays for itself. Yeah, it's dope. I love it.
Because theaters are expensive.
Yo,
it's kind of wild.
Yo, like what? Like $30 fucking to see a movie,
and then the popcorn and soda is another $20.
Yeah, like the popcorn by itself is like $20.
God, I have a taste for soda real bad.
I love a soda.
Yeah.
I'm an icy girl.
I always get an icy.
Oh, see, I can't drink a regular soda anymore at the theater because I have to go to the bathroom. And so, but the icy is the perfect kind of, and I treat myself to a nice icy, a slushy like when I'm at the theater. So that's nice. This is evolved into like some of our conversations evolved into sex. Now we're talking about food. And I like clam chowder.
So the other suggestion I was going to say is like being on your phone. Like one of the ways that you can move away from like I think it's called like addiction coding is like if you use grayscale on your phone. So like if you kind of basically make your phone less kind of like exciting, you'll feel less inclined to actually interact with it because it's not stimulating the same parts of your brain.
On the iPhones, they have the built-in kind of like app or whatever where you can
screen. Well, yeah,
you can put the time and everything. And then I remember I thought I was doing something, so I set it all up, and so it's still popping up like it does ding ding ding. Or turn down this and whatever and. It gets so annoying, so I put my phone down. And I don't deal with that.
Yeah.
Because aren't there ones where you can like, I'm only going to be on Instagram for 1 hour and then it blocks me?
Well, yeah, those are specific apps that you have to pay for.
I remember having a sponsee who wanted me to block him. Our mutual friend, he said, I need help, so I need you to... But then he tells me a story about how when he's blocked on the apps on the phone, he can go to his computer and get to it.
I mean, that's the thing.
I'm not
You're
doing
always
that.
going to find a way.
I'm not doing that
You're always
for
find
you.
a way.
Basically, what you want to do is figure out for yourself, and I'm going to support you however you figure that out, you know?
Yeah, you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to do what you're going to do.
That's where the grace comes from, because it's like, I mean, it's kind of like with recovery. Like the only requirement is a desire to make a change. And so my desire, if that's my desire, then I'm going to try to do the best that I can with it. And it's just like with you I'm sure it wasn't easy in the beginning, letting go of social media.
It was very hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it
and
was
so
very hard.
you do the best that you can. You try not to beat yourself up for not doing well, but and eventually get better.
I want to go back to something, to the getting better, but also the question of like, why am I doing this? So I want to come back to that. So thinking about like hookup apps, for example, I haven't been on them in a while. A few months, and
because things are hot and spicy.
So I haven't been on them in a while, but I'm in this text thread right now where people are talking about sex a lot. And they're and they're sending screenshots and stuff like that. And I don't have a desire to be on the apps, but the FOMO sets in. There's a part of me that I'm like, am I a bad gay man because I'm not able to like, or because this isn't, like giving me what I think it is? Because here's the other thing that came up for me the other day. Whenever I've been on the apps, like I'm on them for like a certain amount of time. And then I always get to a point, always, without fail. And I'm 40. So I've been on the apps for a while. Without fail, I always get to a point where I'm like, oh, I hate this. Right? Like I'm hooking up with someone and I'm like, okay, well, that was kind of fun. Like best way, like, sure, that wasn't a bad, like 1.5 hours, but Yeah. And so I'm not on the apps, but it's like the people around me are, or like the people around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And there's like something about that can feel really alluring. And then, but if I take a step back and I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, but like, I know the quality of these people's lives, not like no Tino shit, but you know what I mean? I'm like, it's not like any of these people are like the happiest.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that comes back to this idea of like, and I'll speak for myself, but like the chase is what really, especially when I'm in my addiction, it's the chase for the next that is really the high. It's not when I'm actually hooking up with somebody. Like when I'm hooking up somebody, it is what it is. But like it's really the chase of like, who can I get and when can I get it? How fast can this happen? Or,
Yeah.
And that's replacing like that feeling that you got when you're using.
No, 100%. 100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And I think,
because the only thing better than when I was using the only thing better than ass was a new ass.
well, listen, like you're pointing to like that makes a lot of sense because when you're living in a big city, you have so many options, right? And so it's really easy.
Because people keep changing their pictures and it's the same people,
and it's actually the same people.
It's the same 20 people.
It's the same 20 people exchanging the same amount of chlamydia.
And then that one person who never changes his picture for 30 years. Emma, girl,
you're still here, girl. I've also had that experience where like I'm off of it for like 2 years and I come back and it's like literally the same people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, no tea, no shade for them, right? But what I'm trying to say is like there's some things that like I've had to. Okay. This I'll just quickly. So I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I was telling her how I don't want to pathologize what I've noticed within my community. So I'm a gay man, right? And what I've noticed among like the gay male community, I don't want to pathologize those things. I'm sex positive. And at the same time, and I've talked about this like years ago, is anyone asking, are we okay? Anyway, so, and I feel like that is really tricky, right? Like we talk about like sexual liberation, but it's like, are we really sexually liberated?
Yeah.
Right. Or are we just in like Dante's Inferno?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I used to tell myself when I first, in my active addiction, is like, cause I was in my mind, I was having the experiences. And so I was being open and free and whatever. And really I wasn't, I was a slave to that whole kind of.
The whole you said?
No, that whole. Well, that
I was like Lewis.
No, I was a slave to that whole routine. Like I was a slave to the drug, to the alcohol, and then also
the circuit,
the rhythm of that. The whole,
yeah. And like I think there's a way to like engage in all things like in a way that feels healthy. But I also like. Do y'all have this where like you're like, oh, I'm always working on something. As like someone in like 12-step.
I'm always working on something.
Like I always feel like sometimes I feel like I can't relax because I'm like, oh my God, I'm working on like my codependency. Oh my God, I'm working on my like sugar addiction. Oh, I'm working on.
Now, I think that it's there, but I don't think of it like that. Like, I don't really think of it as a chore.
Oh, okay.
Like, I really think of it, and I get it. But I think of it in this warm way. Like, I get to work on these things.
Oh, well, that's really sweet. Let's take that into our next episode. So the Castro Country Club is
Wow. The Castro Country Club is a safe and sober community center for all people, except for Anthony, and a refuge for the LGBT community recovery community.
You want to try that again, dyslexia?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The Castro Country Club is a safe and sober community center for all people and a refuge for the LGBTQ recovery community.
We provide programs and services that help change lives by supporting personal growth.
Our vision is to reduce the suffering of addiction by connecting people to community, opportunity, and support.
You can find more information, including all the ways to contact us at www.castrocountryclub.org/podcast.
And please catch new episodes every Monday when they're released.
Every Monday when they're released. We love you. Come back and make good choices
Yes.
and stay sober
Yes.
and connect and love each other. And I'm running out of things to say.